It being 10:30, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Greater Lafourche Port Commission of August 8, 2018 to order. Mr. Early Gager, would you leave us in a pledge of allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank all of y'all for coming. Remind you to turn your cell phone down, please. Next is roll call. Mr. Sheremy.
Seat A, Chucky Sheremy, here. Seat B, Perry Gisclair.
Here.
Seat C, Chris Gaudet.
Here.
Seat D, Rodney Gisclair.
Here.
Seat E, Curtis Pierce.
Here.
Seat F, Larry Griffin.
Here.
Seat G, John Melisson.
Here.
Seat H, Jimmy Guidry.
Here.
Seat I, Randy Adams.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheremy. Next is approval of the minutes of the July 11th, 2018 regular meeting. Move.
Second.
Move by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Melisson. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Next is Executive Director's report. Mr. Chiasson.
Thank you, Mr. President. First is our Northern Expansion projects. Northern Expansion Slip C, 939-foot west bulkhead. Angelette Puciola. Mr. Larry Puciola.
Yes, this job is complete. The contract on the job was sea-level construction. The lien period ends either Monday or Tuesday of next week, and so in September we will have the lien-free certificate and payment of retainage.
Any questions?
All right. And that project was a $6,181,691.49 project.
Yes, this project was the contractor was Magnolia Construction. This project is complete. You have a change order in the amount of $12,438.90 increase, which was 4,607 cubic yards more, and they have substantial completion also to be approved later.
And that's on the 939-foot west sweep dredge project.
That is
so
correct.
that'll be later on the agenda to approve that change order.
And that would be item 2, Mr. Director?
Yes, correct.
All right, thank you.
And that project is $498,434.46. Okay, Northern Expansion.
Thank you, Mr. Larry.
Sorry about that. Northern Expansion Slip C, 1,671-foot east bulkhead. Puciola and Associates.
Crosby Dredging's the contractor. Currently, they're working on putting in tie rods and installing lightweight aggregate. And they're also welding and fitting on the pipe bumper, the boat bumper on the outside. Substantial completion date is September 12th. Looks like they're going to be close, even if they're working 7 days a week. We're having a meeting with them to discuss their contingencies for adding more labor or doing everything they can to meet that date. We're doing that tomorrow.
Any questions for Joe?
Okay, Northern Expansion Slip C, 1,671-foot east sweep dredging project.
Received bids on July 31st. Magnolia Dredge and Dock LLC was the low bidder in the amount of $683,780, and all those bids were in order, so we recommend awarding that bid.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Mitigation dredge of Slip D, J. Wayne Plaisance Engineers. John.
Okay, Crosby Dredging is the contractor for this project, but it's substantially complete. We're just working on the final paperwork and getting the final quantities straightened out.
Any questions?
Okay, that project as being complete is $1,693,883.75.
Thank you, John.
Yep.
Okay, moving to airport projects. Richard is out today, so Davey.
On airport projects, we would first do the operations for July. We had 2,675 operations at the airport. Passengers, we had 13,137 passengers. And vehicles, 20,219 vehicles. And actually, all those numbers are above the July of 2017 numbers. We're still seeing that steady increase.
Okay, that's aircraft operations, Davey. Move on to taxiway lighting and runway LED upgrades.
The taxiway runway project is complete. There are a few punch list items that we're working out. DDG is working with the contractor on. There was some sign faces that needed to be replaced, as well as some few regulator issues, and factory is going to be sending some of those. So hopefully that'll all be taken care of by the next meeting.
All right.
Any question?
And then the airfield drainage improvements project.
Airfield drainage project, further on the agenda, I believe there's a grant to be approved with the FAA on this project. DDG is going to be doing detailed designs on that, and that project will come out soon. That's for some slow draining area on the southeast section, or east of the runway on the south end, trying to get an area that drains, but it drains slowly. We're trying to improve that drainage in that section.
That article made the Gazette this morning.
Yes, and I'd like to commend the staff and our people for putting that out, Mr. President. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah, and it's a good way to continue the port's efforts to communicate with the community and let people know it's not just Fouchon, we also have an airport.
Yes, we do.
I did a tour of the airport last week, complete with Chevron and all. Very impressive. We have to commend Richard on that, and the board members and the board. You know, I suggest if you hadn't done it, you need to do it.
Yep.
They have a lot of potential at that airport.
Okay, thank you. And moving on to other projects. First is Section 203 feasibility study, GIS engineering. We have Mohan.
Good morning, all of you. Mohan Menon from GIS Engineering. We are finalizing the report. The report has got two major sections, as you all know. One is the integrated feasibility report, and draft EIS. Draft EIS, there are 6 chapters, except for one, everything is complete. Chapter 4 is being completed, and the week of 13th, that is next week, we are hoping to complete everything and send it for review to IEPR as well as the Corps of Engineers. Yeah. And there are 10 chapters for the integrated feasibility report, 96-97% complete. Most of the information is in, and I think that report will go after draft EIS. So okay. we are following the timeline. The project is going as we planned. If you have any questions, more than happy to answer.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mohan. LA 308 airport access improvements, PCO and Associates. Joe.
Yes, we did finally receive approval to go out for bids. We're currently advertising now, and we plan on receiving bids on September 12th.
Okay, good deal. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you. LA1 Phase 2 Leeville Mitigation Dredge Project. Angela Picciola, Mr. Larry.
Yes, this project is complete. The lien-free period has expired. They had some repair punch list to do. They have not done all of it yet. They've done the planting. We've tried to schedule a meeting for Tuesday, but some of the people can't make it, so we rescheduled for next Thursday to check the planting. And there's some areas that they're going to have to fill with some type of small dredge. And when we're out there next Thursday with DNR, we're going to come up with a game plan that's acceptable to everybody. We have ConocoPhillips, the landowner, DNR, and everybody's been involved.
Okay. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you.
And real quick, we're not going to pay them their retainage until all this is done.
It's complete. Okay. Thank you. All right, offshore anchorage. I wanted to comment. We talked about it on Monday night, but read some of the stuff that the message that I received from the U.S. Coast Guard, and what they stated was that the Port Fourchon anchorage project is still pending, and that they're actively consulting with several federal, state, and local agencies under the National Historic Preservation Act, Section 106. They're compiling the available survey reports and other data for analysis by their Coast Guard archaeologists. So they really don't have a good timeline as to when that might go through. We had understood that a lot of this stuff had been done already, but there was a question during the public commenting period that somebody put forth. So they're redoing all of that just to double check and make sure that in the anchorage that we've identified, there absolutely is nothing there that would cause any problems into the future. So it's moving along slower than we would hope. We've been working on this for about 4 or so, 5 years now. So it's going to happen sooner or later. So we'll keep an eye on that. Any questions on that anchorage? All right, the Nerby Collins Marina Wharf repairs. SBL Construction was the low quote for those repairs. I signed the contract yesterday, so they'll be coming out to do that wharf repair.
And the photos that you just showed, that was the project prior to E&L was low bid on replacing 2 steel pile clusters on the corners and 1 wood pile cluster further in of just a tie pile. So we are continuing to add steel piles on the corners that they typically pivot on. That's the one we have more issues with.
Yep.
So we are upgrading as we can.
Yep. Okay, any questions? And the public boat launch bulkhead repairs, J. Wayne Plaisance. John.
We're finalizing the plans and specs for that project. We hope to be ready to advertise in a few days.
Okay, any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, we'll move public comment to the next item, and we'll bring up Henri Boulet for our update from the LA1 Coalition.
Good morning, gentlemen. Phase 2E of the LA1 project is well underway. Construction crews are currently working on the northern extension of the bridge structure and will be concentrating on that part of the project for several months. Last week, the coalition, alongside the Port and Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development Secretary Wilson and representatives of Congressman Scalise's office, as well as Senator Cassidy's office, received a debriefing from the U.S. Department of Transportation on the infra grant application, which was not funded, and how to strengthen a new application for the next round. We learned of several areas where they suggest more clarity, including the funding plan for non-federal dollars, which we are relying on the state of Louisiana, in the most part, to pledge. We have presented some specific funding concepts to DOTD Secretary Wilson for a state-authored application to infra, and at this point, he needs to receive guidance from the governor's office on which of these concepts the governor would support. The coalition has requested feedback this month in a meeting which Chet and I would attend with Secretary Wilson. So we'll keep you updated on how that goes. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you, in your best knowledge, express your thoughts of how long it'll take to complete the expressway?
It all depends on, the state pledging a state share.
I'm sorry, that's not the question I intended. The new on-ramp improvements.
Yes, they have 420 working days to do the project they're working on now, and that started back on May 26. Now, they may do it earlier than that, but DOTD calculates all of the piles that have to be driven to certain pressures, days they have to wait to even put weight on those piles, and that's all brought into that calculation.
That's what I was looking for. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Henri.
Okay.
Thank you, Henri.
Okay, next is public comment, and I know we have 5 people in the audience that have qualified, and usually what we do is you can announce, once before you announce, once after you qualify, you can talk. So it's up to you whether you'll pick to do it this meeting or another meeting, but the mic is open to any candidates that are here tonight, is what I'm saying. Yes, sir.
My name is Dicky Vidal Sherby. I'm running for Port Commissioner. My number is number 70, and I'm running for CE. Okay. My friend is John Melson. and I believe they got Bob Dewey in the race too. Appreciate everybody's concern, and I appreciate their votes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there anyone else?
Good morning.
Morning.
This is Francis Bruce. I'm running for seat 8, that's being vacated by Mr. Jimmy Guidry. I'm the son of August, the late August Bruce, and the late Pearline Guidry Bruce. I've been married to Sandra Como Bruce for 34 years. We have 2 children, Tiffany Bruce Maye and Carl Bruce. We have 4 grandchildren. I'm a retired mariner of 34 years, 32 years at Masters. I hold a 1,600-ton Oceans license. I've been in and out of the port many times, by water and by sea. I'm also a former owner of Collins Big Star Supermarket. I'm retired, could dedicate my time to the port, help Keene Sea grow, and I work with the commission.
Hang on a second, Mr. Bruce. Let's see if he can fix that problem. Are we getting feedback on that camera? Yes? I don't know if the audience will be able to hear you because that sound will be magnified.
All right. I'm full of electricity.
All right. You're ecstatic. Want to continue? You can find your spot and back up a little if need be. We do apologize, you know, working items get in the way.
Right, I understand that. It's pretty squeaky right now. But that's all I have to say. I humbly ask for the people of the 10th Ward to consider me the seat 8 for the commission. Thank you. Have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Anyone else?
Good morning. My name is Perry Como. I'm a licensed mariner for over 38 years. I hold a 1,610 Masters on Oceans. I've been a mariner for the last 46 years. I'm married to Faith Curol Como. We have 2 children, 3 grandchildren. I'm the son of the deceased Oneopet Cream Como and Australia Tubes Como. I'm running for seat B, and I would like to thank you all for this time to address the board and the audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Anyone else under public comment? All right.
No.
And next we move on to committee reports. First committee is Executive Committee. Members are Perry Gisclair, Chairman, Larry Griffin, Chucky Sheremy, and John Melisson Jr. First on the agenda is consider approving the request from Sabine Environmental to sublease to PSC Industrial Outsourcing on site GLF 346.
Okay, Sabine Environmental was subleasing to Omni Trusco. They have moved to the northern expansion to their own site. So this is going to be another company who actually does work in the port currently that wants to lease this site, PSC Industrial Outsourcing. Recommendation to approve.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Melisson, second by Mr. Guidry. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Next, to consider approving the request from Lafourche Parish Drainage District to extend the office lease at the port complex.
So this is a request for another year extension. We've been leasing that office space to the Drainage District for several years now. Recommendation to approve.
Moved by Mr. Pierce, second by Mr. Gisclair. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is consider the request from Schwest Shore-Based Services for site GLF 621-2.
Okay, we have a request to extend the amendment that gives them time to develop that site with bulkhead. We had gone back and forth in discussions with them. There's another request that they sent to me just recently. We have some things we need to discuss. So our recommendation to the board is to extend their current amendment from the ending on August 31st to December 31st, while we, in the interim, further discuss what a permanent amendment would be.
You have to put a date in here, don't we?
Well, this would basically be just if the commission decides to do it, be extending the deadline. We have August 31st deadline, we'd like to extend it to
December 31st.
I think they're looking for a strategic plan. I think they have a customer they're looking to bring in.
Move by Mr. Gisclair, second by Mr. Shermy. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is consider approving the request from Work Strings to lease site GLF 624.
Okay, so this site was formerly leased to FCC, and they decided they didn't want to lease the site. You had accepted from Work Strings to lease actually 630 or so feet, 35 feet on the east side. Once we were informed them that 939 was available on the west side, they jumped on it and sent the request. So the recommendation is to approve this request for site GLF 624 for a 939 linear foot site, and that would commence on October 1st.
Moved by Mr. Goudet, second by Mr. Guidry. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is consider approving the bids for surplus equipment sale.
Okay, we had 11 items on surplus equipment sale. We received bids on 5. Recommendation to approve 5 high bids.
Moved by Mr. Griffin.
Second.
Second by Mr. Guidry. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is consider approving the bids for the airport surplus lights and signage.
Okay, we had 3 items of airport specialized equipment we put on govdeals.com, and those high bids were put in above the minimum bids. Recommendation to approve.
Moved by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Griffin. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is consider advertising for microwave surplus equipment.
Okay, so we have surplus equipment coming off of a couple different towers in the area that we do not need that equipment anymore. We would like to surplus that, and we would put that microwave equipment with the equipment that didn't receive bids the last time on the Gov Deals, so we can see if we can get some bids on that. Recommendation to approve this.
Moved by Mr. Pierce, second by Mr. Gisclair. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we move into Permits and Waterways Committee. Members are Chucky Sherby, Chairman, Larry Griffin, Perry Gisclair, and Curtis Pierce. Mr. Sherby.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, we have Entergy Louisiana. Description mitigation plan for after-the-fact permitting for 5.43 acres of impact associated with the P2009-1039 Go to Meadow to Leeville emergency transmission repair lines. Next, we have LLOX. Proposed dredging of 160 by 345 foot well slip with 90 by 90 wings in order to install and maintain a proposed 198 by 54 drill barge. Then we have Castec Energy, proposed to bucket dredge and extend existing slip in order to research and desired drilling location for placement of supporting slip and structure to serve the Castec Lafourche LP 23 number 002 well dredge. Approximately 95,588 cubic yards of materials will be impacted. Then next we have S2 Energy Operations. Proposed hydraulic dredging to construct a channel in Timberlayer Bay for access to an existing compressor station and living quarters. And that's all we have, but I will let Mr. Chet explain on the one that we have for the 95,000 cubic yards of material, what happened there.
Okay, so they're going to be excavating material and actually placing it on site, doing some beneficial use. They're going in a little canal that's a shallow water canal. They're actually going to make a little channel so they can get their equipment in there. And the material they're going to dredge out is actually going to enhance and enlarge the amount of marsh in that little canal. And they actually already have plans in here showing that they're going to plant it with native plant species as well. So it's actually a good beneficial use project.
All right. Well, that's all we have, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sherman. Next, we move with the Construction and Development Committee, and members are Larry Griffin, Chairman, Perry Gisclair, Rodney Gisclair, and Randy Adams. Mr. Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. President. First is consider approving change order number 1 from Magnolia Dredge and Dock for the Slip C 939 feet west sweep dredge.
Okay, this is a change order for an increase in $12,438.90 for a few extra cubic yards of material that were added to the project. Recommendation to approve.
Move by Mr. Mellison, second by Mr. Guidry. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Next is consider approving the substantial completion certificate for Magnolia Dredge and Dock for the Slip C 939 feet west sweep dredge.
Okay, this project is complete. A substantial completion date of July 16th, 2018. Recommendation to approve.
Move by Mr. Goudet, second by Mr. Gisclair. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Next is consider adopting a resolution to accept the lowest responsive bid for Slip C 1,671 feet east sweep dredging.
Okay, we received 6 bids, and the lowest bidder was Magnolia Dredge and Dock LLC for $683,780. Everything is in order. Recommendation to approve.
Move by Mr. Pierce, second by Mr. Mellison. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Next is consider adopting a resolution certifying compliance with the public bid laws for Slip C 1,671 feet east sweep dredging.
Okay, this is a necessary resolution, we're receiving funding from Department of Transportation's Port Priority Program. Recommendation to approve.
Move by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Okay, next is consider adopting a resolution approving the DOTD intergovernmental reimbursement agreement for Northern Expansion Slip C Phase 3 projects.
Okay, so this is for our newest application that we had that was approved in this last legislative session for DOTD Port Priority Program. These are resolutions that we have to pass so that we can actually start projects prior to DOTD actually having the funds in place to reimburse us. So this is an agreement that says you can start, and then when they have the funds to reimburse us, they will reimburse us.
Move by Mr. Goudet, second Mr. Sherby. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Next is consider adopting a resolution to accept the FAA grant award for the airfield drainage improvements design phase.
Yeah. So we received $54,000 of federal dollars from FAA, Federal Aviation Administration. And this is a resolution saying that we are accepting that award for the design of those airfield drainage improvements.
Move.
Move by Mr. Gisclair, second by Mr. Pierce. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Griffin. Next, we move on to Finance Committee. Members are John Mellison Jr., Chairman, Jimmy Guidry, Chris Goudet, and Perry Gisclair. Mr. Mellison.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. President. First off, we are going to consider approving payments of the July 2018 invoices and recognizing those over $10,000. And we'll begin with item 1, Crosby Dredging, LLC, $258,066.74, and that is for Slip C Phase 3 bulkhead. Item 2, GIS Engineering, LLC, $170,560.53, and that's for the Section 203 Integrated Feasibility Study. Item 3, Magnolia Dredge and Lock, LLC, $123,058.45, and that's for Slip C 939 linear feet of West Sweep dredging. Item 4, PCO and Associates, $50,750.86, and that is for Slip C Phase 3 1,671 linear feet of east bulkhead, along with conceptual bridge design and Slip C dredging. Item 5, Epic Aviation, $47,427.43. That is fuel for resale and the truck rental at the airport. Item 6, Deborah D. Keller and Partners, $23,500, and that's for the 2018 Grant Narrative Professional Services. Item 7, E&L Enterprises Incorporated, $22,802.46. That's for the Nerby Collins Marina Pile Cluster Removal and Replacement. Item 8, Grand Isle Shipyard, $21,117.78. That's for the contract labor at the airport and limestone for the minor Jeremy Road. Item 9, Vision Communication, $20,949.46. That is for phone, internet, and cable services. Item 10, Daily Tower Services, $17,781, and that is for removal of the microwave system along with repairing the lights on the tower in Fouchon. Item 11, NOAA, $16,100, maintenance for the Met Station at the Nerby Collins Marina.
And to clarify, that's National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA.
I appreciate that, Mr. President. Mr. Director, excuse me again. Item 12, Bank of America, $15,429.23, and that's for monthly port credit card charges. Item 13, Angelette Picciola, $12,806.43. That's for Slip C, 939 linear feet west dredge, LA1 Phase 2 mitigation, along with the minor Jeremy Senior Road paving Phase 1. Item 14, American Integration Contractors, $11,683.21, and that's for CCTV repairs and tower lift. Item 15, HCR Network Technologies, $10,140, and that's for disaster recovery and cyber security. And last, we have Cutchins and Grow, LLC, $10,000, and that's for professional services for the DBE project at the airport. And that, along with our other expenses, come to a total of $1,337,698.60. And Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion, we accept these expenditures.
Move by Mr. Mellison.
Second.
Second by Mr. Griffin. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Next, as discussed on Monday, committee meetings, we need to consider approving the July 2018 unaudited financial statements. And Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion, we accept this.
Moved by Mr. Mellison. Second by Mr. Guidry. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
And last, we have consider approving out-of-state travel and training. We have Director Chasson attending the National Ocean Industry Association Fall Meeting in San Antonio, Texas, October 3rd through the 5th. And that's all we have on this, and I'd like to make a motion. We accept this, Mr. President?
Moved by Mr. Mellison, second by Mr. Pierce. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Mr. President, this concludes the financial report.
I thank you very much, Mr. Mellison. Next, is any other business? But one thing, because the benefit of the people we have here that are running, I just want to let them know that before our Wednesday meeting, we have a Monday night committee meeting, and on the fourth Wednesday, we have a committee meeting in Fouchon, which would be pretty close, it's not set, and everyone is invited, not only the people running, but the public is invited too, so.
Mr. President, could you notify them of the times of those meetings, the Monday and the Fouchon meeting?
Monday nights at 6, 10:30 Wednesday, 10:30 at Fouchon. And everybody's invited, and every meeting we have is open to the public. So again, I invite each and every one of you. Now, next is public comment.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion we adjourn.
Moved by Mr. Sheremy, second by Mr. Gisclair. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned. Thank each and every one of you for coming.